Derick Giwner along with Matt Rose here at DRF headquarters for a Saturday night, March 30th edition of the Harness Spotlight. We're going to take a look at a Levy division from Yonkers Raceway, as well as the Jackpot High Five mandatory payout at Woodbine Mohawk Park, $525,000. So 12-horse field should be an interesting wagering event. But we're going to start at Yonkers Raceway. It's race number 11, the 5th of 5 divisions of the Levy Memorial. We have an 8-horse field here with Winsong Leo as the morning line favorite, and that seems, I don't know if I buy that.
All right, well, you say this is the 5th of 5 Levy divisions, race 11 on the card. I know you like to hand pick a race, and I asked you why this race. You said because it's you know, it's a competitive, probably the most competitive race on the card from a betting standpoint. I wouldn't worry too much about that 8-5 morning line of Winsong Leo like he's going to be a heavy favorite or anything like that. But you know what? This is a pretty good race from top to bottom. The only question going right now is, you see we have as I'm speaking, we do not know who Matt Kikali is choosing. You would assume he'd choose Max Jackpot, the 1, but the 4 locked in luck A is a Lance Hudson trainee who has a ton of live horses, and he gets a ton of live drives. So that's
is also double listed on there, but he's going to go with Bit of a Legend.
Yeah, and you know what? Anyone who saw the race last week, a Bit of a Legend, and we talked about last week, very, very disappointing. Gapped the pocket and backed up. Probably the first poor race we've ever seen for a Bit of a Legend.
Rumor I hear is that he's got a little bit of a foot issue, so hopefully that'll clear up with the week in between last week and this week.
You know what? Obviously he's only gotten participation points in the first 2 legs of the Levy. Good to see him right back in the box. I guess he's good to go, and you know, they need to pick up some points here. So I wouldn't hesitate to include him. Let's put it that way. But with that said, I'm not going to have him on top.
Well, let's look at this race for a second here. Obviously, I think we could both agree that maybe the morning line favorite should be number 7, Ideal Jimmy, coming off consecutive wins. But he's a horse that I absolutely hate in this spot. He had 2 inside posts where he got soft halves, and you know, and won and did the job. But to me, this looks like a complete week-off race. I mean, he's got to enter because you get 25 points just for showing up, I think it is. But I just don't see him being involved at all in this race.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not taking anything away from him. He's been great, a great comeback. He's almost 100 grand already after only having 1 star last year. And yeah, those were 2 easy spots in the first 2 legs of the Levy. Like I said, not to take anything away from him, but he's going to have to show a lot more speed to get involved. I'm not sure if he has it. I wouldn't say it's a complete toss. I wouldn't say I hate him, but I am going to try to look elsewhere. You know, as I tried to basically beat him in the first 2 legs of the Levy, I don't see why I should jump on board from this spot. I'm going to look inside to a horse I'm sure you have on your ticket somewhere, Max Jackpot. This horse was a great 4-year-old, made a huge living in the 3- and 4-year-old Open that they carded most of the year last year. Banked $238,000. We saw him rally very well to be second to Ideal Jimmy in the first leg of the Levy, which was a strangely run race. No chance last week. He was stacked up with excess cover. Still came home 27-2. This horse can be on the front end. He can hack it, grind first over. I just think this is a good spot for this horse, and I just hope he's not overbet because of the move inside.
I think both Max Jackpot from the rail and the 2 Rockathon, they both have early speed. They both should be close attendance. I think either one of them could be on this ticket here, or even get lucky if the race goes their way. I went with the 5 Winsong Leo. I think this is a very talented horse who just, you know, he made a break for whatever reason. He made the 1 start he had here. I think he's a horse that's shown that he could be versatile. He could leave. He could win from off the pace. And obviously he's coming from Ron Burke's barn, which is nice. 20 for 37 last year. I think this is, right now, considering the way Bit of a Legend raced last week, you know, and the week prior, and considering that Ideal Jimmy has the outside post, I think he's probably the best horse in the race if he shows up with his top effort.
He's been a great horse at Yonkers. He's never been a top Open or Levy type horse when he raced here. But yeah, he was able to bank almost 250 grand. He was very well backed in that first start. Broke in the pocket. He was never getting a Western Fame anyway. Western Fame was, in my opinion, was going to win for fun regardless. But Winsong Leo just made a break for some reason on the turn. Had to come back and qualify last week. I guess there's a break off the qualifier rule or whatever it is. I was there last Friday charting the qualifiers, and I'm watching the race, and this horse just, you know, pulled out a 3-hole breeze by like effortlessly. I didn't have a sheet in front of me at the time. I said, gee, who was that? And I go, oh, it's Winston Leo. Okay, that makes sense. So the point is, he was fine. The break, nothing to worry about. He came right back and, and jogged and breezed in that qualifier. Like I said, I wouldn't be too worried about the 8-5 morning line, like he's going to get crushed. But he may be a slight favorite in the spot. I do have him second on my ticket. And I want you to even mention Rodeo Romeo, a couple third-place finishes in the Levy. That Bartlett guy from a good post. No reason not to include him also.
Yep, so Matt's going with the 1 Max Jackpot. I'm going with the 5 Winsong Leo in race number 11 at Yonkers Raceway for the Levy Series. It's the 5th division. We're going to move on to Woodbine Mohawk Park, race number 10. We have a $525,000 guaranteed payout of the Jackpot High Five, and Matt's sighing already.
Too many horses, too many horses. I get the whole point with we want to make it as competitive as possible in 12 horses, but this might be these races might be too competitive, and I'm speaking from a personal standpoint. It kind of turns me off a little bit, because it's almost like if you're not spreading and putting a lot of money in, it's almost like buying a lottery ticket. You know what? I honestly, and maybe I don't speak for most people out there, I'd rather have a normal race, 8 horses, 9, 10 horses, where I feel like I'd have a shot. Maybe I'm not going to hit a jackpot, but I'd love to have a shot for a reasonable ticket to feel like I have a chance to win the race.
It's different strokes for different folks, Matt. And some people want a 12-horse field and they want to have more options to play into. And and Woodbine is giving it to you for this particular race. And there's plenty of times where you can go out and hit the cold exacta if you want to in an 8-horse field, I think, somewhere else. Let's take a look at some of the players in here. We have a couple of replays to key up, and the first one is going to be West's Lucky Terror, which is the 3-horse. Raced in race 2 last week. He's on the lead here. You're going to see Jody Jameson is just going to win this race for fun.
I mean, well rated on the front end, 125 3/4. We know it's a long stretch, but yeah, he's just completely in hand here, winning his 3rd straight. It's 3 of 4 this season. I'm imagining this is a step up in class. I mean, we have horses coming from all different types of conditions. He's facing some more, I guess you could say, seasoned foes maybe, stepping up here. But I mean, yeah, it's hard to dispute the form. Let's put it that way.
Perhaps one of those more seasoned foes. Another replay we're going to look at. It's the 8 Ideal Jet. He blistered the way on the lead last time. 27 and change, 55 and change, 122 and change. Kind of drifted out pretty badly in the stretch, but he held kind of safely. Ideal Jet did, and he was in the condition ranks now when it's a 7,500. Right. This is a little bit of step up in some ways, but not really, because most of these horses are stepping up in class from now one is a 7,500, now one is a 5,000. Some of these are coming in from the now one is a 3. The only horse that's class dropping, and that's the 5-2 morning line favorite, is the 4 Torin Hanover, with absolutely no form. Yeah, Sylvain Filion decided to take the rail horse, Time O Peacemaker. It makes you wonder, can this class dropper do well?
Yeah, it's the first horse I looked at, and I said, because I was looking for a class angle, and yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to go by here. I mean, it's not like he's been terrible. He seems to get overbet every week or bet strongly every week. I've always been kind of partial to the more seasoned conditioned horses, such as, like you mentioned, with Ideal Jet, moving up in class rather than these horses coming out of non-winners conditions. I am going to go with Ideal Jet here. I know he's a speedball, a bottom-out type horse once in a while, but you know what? You might need that in a bulky field. He's got to get away from the gate cleanly, obviously, and steer clear of traffic in what could be obviously a lot of traffic in this race with the 2 trailers. And you know what? I mentioned before, I don't know what to do underneath. My only endorsement is I'm going to go with Ideal Jet. I'm going to hope maybe he can bottom this field out again. And, geez, just spread wherever you want.
I went
underneath
the opposite way.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
I went the opposite way. I went with the 3 West Lucky Terror. I was just so impressed with that win. It was his 3rd straight win in a row. I see this as a horse that's ready to step up to the condition ranks. I see this as a great spot where he could sit behind Ideal Jet, just sit the pocket, wait, and get the job done in the stretch. I put together a ticket. My ticket's West Lucky Terror, the 3, over Ideal Jet, the 8. Obviously, I think you got to use off last week. And Time O Peacemaker, who I think raced pretty well last week. He had dead aim on the leader, couldn't get by, but you know what? can't win every single race. Sylvain Filion decided to stay with this one over a couple other choices. I think he'll be close attendance early.
I was going to say he might have to show more versatility than just sitting a pocket this week. But
no, but I think he'll be close to the pace. He'll probably be sitting third or whatever, but in a good position where in the long stretch you can angle out and get the job done. So I went 3 with the 1-8. The other horses I'm throwing in for third, the 4 Turin Hanover, who we already discussed, is a class dropper, and also the 12. Who was
flip the page?
I have to flip the page to Rio Wiley, who driver Luis Philippe Roy decided to choose over like 3 or 4 others in here. This is another horse. He had aim last week from the pocket. Really no excuse why he didn't get by, other than the pace was pretty slow. Behind West Lucky Terror, right? Just
that's
to double check.
West Lucky Terror.
Behind West Lucky Terror.
That's why.
I had flipped the page to double check it, but it was a few weeks ago because this horse hasn't started since March 11th. But he was right behind the horse I'm picking on top last time, so it's hard not to use him on the ticket.
Problem is, and we all know that, buried early maybe from the 12 hole, second horse out in the second tier.
See, I see this as more of an inside race. I see this as the inside horses, the 8's going to leave, and obviously he's going to get to the top, I think, here. But I see this as the inside horses are going to be close, and those horses sitting 7, 9, and 10, I'm just going to, fold the page over and not look at them because
I bet you could have an all somewhere for 5th on your ticket, though.
You know what? My ticket right now looks 3 with the 1-8, with the 1-4-8-12, with all. It's 86.40.
For 20 cents.
For 20 cents, 525,000 in the pool. It's a big enough pool where I can play a ticket for 86 bucks.
Well, you know what? I'm in full disclosure, I'm going to go with Ideal Jet on top and
play all.
How much is all cost for 20 cents? Way too much. I'd probably be better off with a win bet on the horse, but that's beside the point. I'll give out Ideal Jet and not a ticket. You give out West Lucky Terror and a ticket.
Matt's leaving it up to you to figure it out. We'll be back next week for some more Levy action. Good luck.